Vernal clouds have turned the star wheel. Summer is upon us. The longest day of the year, the summer solstice, was 3 days ago. And in an unusual alignment of light and radiance, the full moon peaked 2 days ago. The brightness of summer is truly here. The longest day of the year has gone by many names in many cultures. Neolithic monuments are aligned to this solar peak. The celebration of this powerful time predates written record. It is a piece of our history as a species. In contemporary pagan practice, most of us call the summer solstice Litha. This word comes from the Anglo-Saxon term for the 2 months roughly corresponding to June and July. Like many aspects of pagan practice, the contemporary celebration of the holiday is a reconstruction based on what we know of pre-Christian practices. Today, we also celebrate the Unitarian Universalist tradition of flower communion. This tradition honors the unique gifts of each member of our community. As we celebrate the power of the sun, we also honor the call to action for each of us to use our own power to shed light, to help humanity survive and thrive. When you arrived, you were given a ribbon. In the time to come, different speakers will talk about ways to connect to the different traditions around this holiday. At the close of each speaker's words, you are invited to channel your thoughts and feelings into that ribbon. At flower communion, we will invite you to tie your ribbon to your flower, bringing all those solar blessings together in a form that can go home with you and shed light.
My mother and I have this in common. In the summertime, we love to be barefoot. From the time I took my first steps, and much to my father's horror, my mother allowed me and joined me in connecting with the earth this way, feeling the grass beneath our feet, sand between our toes, mud splashing ankles and calves. As I grew with Mom as my Girl Scout leader, I explored the earth in other ways, hiking through her gentle, calming forests, safe in the protection of her canopies, sleeping on soft or sometimes rocky earth, supported by her solid, steady presence, slithering on our bellies through cave tunnels to be held in her dark and silent womb. With the earth, I felt safe, held, protected, awed. No wonder then that she has been revered as deity in so many cultures throughout time. The ancient Greeks called her Gaia and honored her as the mother of all life. Here's a quote from the Homeric hymn to Gaia, written in the period between 500 and 300 BCE. Gaia, mother of all, I shall sing, the strong foundation, the oldest one. She feeds everything in the world. Whoever walks upon her sacred ground or moves through the sea or flies in the air, it is she who nourishes them from her treasure store. Queen of earth, through you beautiful children, beautiful harvests come. It is you who give life to mortals and who take life away. Blessed is the one you honor with a willing heart. They who have this have everything. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit and hold your ribbon to face the north. Place your feet squarely on the ground, and through the 4 corners of your feet, focus on the feeling of support. Gently sway or lift your toes up and down. And as you feel your weight shift, take comfort in knowing that Gaia will always be there to hold you up, to catch you if you fall. Into these ribbons, these symbols of connection, we call the blessings of the earth, Gaia, and the north.
Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise the darkness, praise the night. Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise the darkness, praise the light. Please be seated.
One of the surprises along my path as a Hellenic polytheist, a modern-day worshiper of the Greek gods, has been my love for Zeus, pronounced Zeus in ancient Greek. As a young queer woman with my fair share of patriarchal baggage, as many of us have, I never expected to worship a deity who is primarily remembered for his mythological shenanigans with women. But just as elemental air brings new winds of creativity and discovery, so too does every generation grow to see the gods through a different light. I found myself drawn to Zeus's commitment to justice, his protection over immigrants and travelers, and his deep love for his daughters Athena and Artemis, exactly as they are. Opening my heart to him helped me open myself to the father figures in my life and the deep wisdom that comes from listening to people of a different age and gender background than you are. In the spirit of air and open-mindedness, I invite you to let go of your preconceptions about Zeus for a few minutes and enjoy a hymn accompanied by lyre. Zeus is earth, Zeus is earth, Zeus is heaven, Zeus in all of our words. Give unto us what is good, whether we pray or pray not. May every step that I take echo the justice you safeguard. Zeus is earth, Zeus is earth, Zeus is heaven, Zeus in all of our words. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and hold your ribbon to face the east. Into these symbols of connection, we call the blessings of the air, Zeus, and the east.
Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise the darkness, praise the night. Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise the darkness, praise the night.
Please be seated.
Fire is the element that transforms. Earth becomes hard clay or ash, water becomes steam, a cool breeze becomes a burning wind. Fire is the element that defies. Earth, water, and air are subject to gravity and will always be pulled down. Fire always climbs up. Fire is impermanence. Without fuel and oxygen, fire disappears where the other elements remain. Fire is the element of purification through destruction. What cannot survive the flame will be lost, but what remains is stronger, freer, ready to grow again. Fire is the light that lets us see where we are going and where we have been. In nearly every pagan tradition, there is a trickster, a god or a spirit who represents inversion. Loki and Hermes, Coyote and Brer Rabbit, Elegua and Set, the trickster takes many forms. They restore balance through tricks and mischief, revealing what is important by mocking what is not. They upset the status quo when things need to change, when heralds of stagnant control need to be silenced to make room for voices that have gone unheard. Tricksters also stand guard in the liminal spaces, the crossroads, the gateways, the paths between this world and the next. As fire transforms, so too the trickster comes bearing change, a message that growth is being hindered, and it is time to remove what no longer serves us, so that balance can return and growth can begin again. Growth can be painful at times, but if we welcome Trickster's offered flame, it can be our torchlight and our hearth, the necessary cleansing to ready us for what is next. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and hold your ribbon to face the south. Into these symbols of connection, we call the blessings of the Tricksters, fire, and the south.
Hail the sun and hail the light. Praise the darkness, praise the night. Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise the darkness, praise the light.
Please be seated.
Heathenry recognizes multiple deities connected to the many blessings of water. Among the Aesir tribe of gods who function to help humanity maintain order is Thor. One of the most well-known deities, he creates the loud claps of thunder that usher in mighty storms that foster the growth and abundance of crops. Of the Jotun tribe, who embody the more volatile aspects of nature, is Aegir, who commands the ocean. He is known to host lavish meals for the gods, something reflected in the abundance of sea life we use to sustain ourselves. From the Vanir tribe, the ones who oversee growth and life, is the seafaring god Njord, who is known for bringing the kind of abundance associated with commerce and trade, like that which is made possible through his travels across the sea. What all of these deities have in common is that their connections to and use of water result in an abundance of resources to nourish human life. Resources that not only nourish our physical being, but our connections with community as well. Harvesting and sharing that which sustains us is a key part of our survival and embodies hospitality, a core value in heathenry. A value that, when lived and expressed to its fullest and most ideal form, fosters peace, justice, and equality for all, the fight for which we contemplate during flower communion. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and hold your ribbon to face the west. Into these symbols of connection, we call the blessings of the water, the heathen gods, and the west.
Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise the darkness, praise the night. Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise the darkness, praise the night.
You may be seated.
Above us, the shining realm, called Albios in the Gaulish language. Here dwell the shining ones, the gods of the heavens, the eternal sun and moon, the many-storied stars that position us in space and time. We look to the heavens on this day, the summer solstice, and find the sun directly above us, the highest she stands all year. And we call on her light and strength to empower and enrich ourselves and our world. Today we call to Anya, an Irish solar goddess and fairy queen, long honored on the Midsummer Eve. O red mare of summer, Anya of the wisps, who is the midsummer sun and the queen of the fairy hill, we call to you. Lover of men, mother of kings, bringer of bounty, we ask for your blessing. Gift us, O Lady, with sovereignty, not of nations, but of ourselves. May we each shine bright in our power, like the sacred sun above us, that we might work to make a better, brighter world. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and hold your ribbon to face the sky. Into these symbols of connection, we call the blessings of Anya and that which is above us.
Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise the darkness, praise the night. Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise the darkness, praise the night.
Please be seated.
Ereshkigal, Sumerian goddess of death and the underworld, and caretaker of the dead, is often portrayed as a powerful and formidable goddess, but also a goddess who is just and follows a moral code. There are not many images of her, potentially because of a belief that to create an image of a deity was to invite the deity's attention. It is significant that even though later myths do appoint a male consort to Ereshkigal, she continues to reign as the sovereign queen of the underworld and goddess of death. Today, we do indeed invite this dark and holy lady's attention as we look below, through the chthonic depths of our minds and the earth herself, through the dirt, the mud, the worms, the mycelium, the crystals and rocks. We look down, down, down to our ancestors, human and non-human alike. We look through blood and bones, tears and grief, joy and love, straight down to the ancient heart of Ereshkigal. O Lady of Death, Lady of Natural Law, Lady who flies on wings, silent as the owl, hear us today as we learn from you how to appreciate the bitterness and sweetness of our lives under the sun. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and hold your ribbon to face the earth. Into these symbols of connections, we call the blessings of Ereshkigal and that which is below us.
Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise the darkness, praise the night. Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise the darkness, praise the night.
You may be seated.
Our ancestors and beloved dead are always with us. They're in our blood, our bone. We see them in our own eyes, in our facial features when we look in the mirror. We feel them in a silly habit that we picked up and held on to, or a tradition that stretches back so far no one remembers where it came from. Ancestor veneration is seen in practice across the world. Our ancestors lived. They survived so that we could be here, right now. They understand the human experience in ways that a deity or other spirit never could. They are invested in our success because it's the continuation of their story. As a result, many beliefs around ancestors are that they watch over us. They can guide and mentor us if we're willing to listen. Now, family can be hard. Not all of us have good relations with our immediate ancestors. So I invite you to look back further. You don't need to know their names or anything about them. A simple phrase used by many as they delve into ancestor practice is as follows: I call to my wise, holy, and benevolent ancestors. That way, you get the ancestors with good intentions and not the less savory. Every one of us carries within them the energy of thousands of people that came before. We are the culmination of countless loves, countless hopes, dreams, struggles, and more importantly, triumphs. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and hold your ribbon to your heart's center. Into these symbols of connection, we will call the blessings of the ancestors that dwell within us.
Praise the sun and praise the light. Praise
may be seated.
At the summer solstice, the sun is at the height of its power, and we remember that we, too, can shine light into dark places, work to grow peace and justice, and share our gifts with the world. And as we continue to discern how we feel called, both individually and collectively, to act for peace and justice, I would like to invite us to continue that reflection as we prepare to practice a UU ritual known as flower communion. The first flower communion ceremony in Prague was June 4th of 1923. This annual tradition reminds us of both the importance and the risk of the struggle to build a world with peace, liberty, and justice, not merely for some, but for all. The practice of flower communion also reminds us of the importance and risk of working for justice. Flower communion originated in 1921 in a Unitarian congregation in Prague, which at that point in time was the capital city of Czechoslovakia, now called the Czech Republic. Under the leadership of its minister, Norbert Čapek, it grew into the largest Unitarian congregation in the world, with a membership in 1932 of more than 3,000 people. In 1941, Čapek was arrested by the Nazis on charges of treason. A year later, he was executed at the Dachau concentration camp in Germany. Čapek was martyred for supporting individual liberty in the face of fascism. And the continuation of flower communion today affirms the heart of the original ritual, that no two flowers are alike. So too are no two people alike, yet each has a contribution to make. Together, the different flowers form a beautiful bouquet. Our common bouquet would not be the same without the unique addition of each individual flower. And thus it is with the beloved community of this congregation. It would be lessened if any one of us were absent. In a few moments, we will sing together Full Height of Our Power, a chant by pagan singer and songwriter Kellyanna. The lyrics will be projected on the screen. And as we sing, you can remain seated. But once we start singing, I invite you to begin coming up row by row, and let's start in the front and try to have it be marginally less chaos. I don't know. Don't be shy. There's a lot of you. So once the singing starts, go ahead and come forward. Each individual is invited to take a flower that is different from the one that you brought. Each member brought a flower. And in Čapek's words, each is to take a flower just as it comes, without making any distinction where it came from and whom it represents, to confess that we accept each other as siblings, without regard to class, race, or other distinction, acknowledging everyone as one friend who is a human and seeks to be good. And as you take your chosen flower, note its particular shape and beauty. And if you didn't bring a flower, please come forward and take a flower anyway. Some of us brought bouquets, so there would be plenty of extras. We'll continue singing Full Height of Our Power until everyone has come forward. When you return to your seat, tie your ribbon to your flower, a reminder that each of us individually has the power to shine.
We are a people at the full height of our power. This is the place